Hi, everybody. Welcome to Something to Talk About, where I talk about A Song of Ice and Fire characters. And yeah, we're still hanging out in the Riverlands. And besides a little trip to the Reach next week, we're pretty much going to be in the Riverlands the rest of the year. So yeah, and also go check out all this stuff from the Bemverse. But before we go, we have to say, hi! Welcome to Something to Talk About. My name is Taco, and yeah, my name's not actually Taco, my name's Mark, but my name's Taco, all right? Just deal with it. Okay, so yeah, let's just go. You guys know what you're doing here? This is what we're doing here. So I talk a song about some fire characters. Pause, read this if you've never been here before, because we have to talk about the Ambrose Butterwell. Yeah, we're hanging out in some Duncan eggs times, yo. Oh, the milk blood, the Lord of Cows, Lord Butterbutt. All right, that's a great nickname. Yeah, so I'm gonna cover a Duncan egg character. It hasn't been too long. I think I just did Lionel Baratheon, but this is one during the book Mystery Night. So spoilers if you've never read Mystery Night, because this is like completely Ambrose Butterwell is like completely tied to that. So also, and I got a weird one. So I just finished writing this, and I had to draw a line between like literally say everything that happens in Mystery Night or leave out kind of big gaps. And I went with the big gaps because this is about Ambrose Butterwell, and I'm kind of going to be leaving out a large portion of what happens in Mystery Night because he's just not really there for that stuff, right? So yeah, this is what I'm saying is this isn't a substitute for reading the Mystery Night. Go read Mystery Night or listen to it. Go listen to it, right? This is just trying to cover Ambrose Butterwell as a character and then his stuff during that time. So, yeah. So let's get into Ambrose Butterwell. Ambrose Butterwell was the Lord of White Walls in the Riverlands and is the head of House Butterwell during the reigns of King Aegon IV and Daeron II, and Aerys the First. So that's three kings, yo. He served Master of Coin for Aegon the Unworthy, Aegon IV, and later as Hand of the King for Daeron II. Ambrose Butterwell was renowned for his wit, but is considered to be a failure as a hand. He was roughly 50 years old when he married his second wife, daughter of Lord Frey of the Crossing. He had heavy jowls with thin flaxen hair. Heavy jowls. I think I kind of got heavy jowls too. I hide it in my beard, but I kind of got some jowls. Chubby guy. All right. I know it doesn't look chubby because I literally film from dad stomach up, like you can't see it, but it's there. Okay, so yeah, that's why I like covering chubby dudes, because I have a chubby dude. All right, so yeah, Ambrose Butterwell. We don't know who's first wife is, and I'm kind of going to cover that later on when we get to theories. But yeah, so he does try to marry a Frey later on, because who doesn't? Am I right? Okay, so let's talk about House Butterwell. House Butterwell is a noble house from the Riverlands. Their blazon is Undie green. It's called Undie green. Undie green, white, and yellow. That just means wavy, right? They're just some wavy stuff. A couple wavy lines. Yeah, so also we don't know what their words are, which is lame. Let me get a pitch for your House Butterwell words in the comments. I don't know. What's that line from Amish Paradise? I'm not even gonna remember it. Raise a fawn on Monday, soon I'll raise another. It's the one right before that. Man, churning lots of butter. What is it? But yeah, now you guys are now yelling those lyrics at me. But churning lots of butter, would that be a good one? Or just like grab the cow by the udder? A lot of cows. Grab the cow by the udder. That's a good words. Here, let's make that their words. All right, House Butterwell, grab the cow by the udder. All right, House Butterwell was once a rich house with extensive lands, although its main incomes come from their dairy cows, prompting some to dismiss their origins as little more than up-jumped cattle thieves, and once had a castle called White Walls. We'll get to that. They still do during this story. House Butterwell was said to have the best wines outside of the arbor. after King Maegor the First Targaryen exterminated House Harroway in 44 AC, he divided the Harroway holdings amongst its remaining supporters. So the king granted Lord Harroway's town to Lord Alton Butterwell, Harroway Harrenhal to Lord Walton Towers, and the rest of the Harroway holdings to Lord Darnold Derry. Why was I talking about House Harroway? Well, because somebody landing a plane in my driveway. Okay, so yeah, House. Where was I? Oh, because they got House Harroway Town is how the Butterwells got it. They don't have it by the time of the main books, but they got it during this time, I am assuming. So let's talk about this dude's grandpa. His grandfather, Ambrose's grandfather, was an unnamed Lord Butterwell, was the Lord of White Walls and the head of House Butterwell during the reign of King Aegon IV Targaryen. He served as hand of the king for Aegon IV. I just said that. Oh, no. I didn't say he served it. He just reigned there during, Aegon IV. And he served as hand of the king. When Aegon IV Targaryen visited Butterwell's castle, he gifted him with a dragon egg in return for access to his 3 maiden daughters. According to tales, Aegon impregnated all 3 girls in the same night. Wow. He later had white walls built. The Pale Castle was commonly called the Milk House by its small folk who lived near it. Its walls, keep, and towers were made of white stone carried in the Vale of Arryn, and its floors and pillars were crafted from white marble vined with gold. The rafters were carved from trunks of weirwoods. It's a white house, man. That's probably why they call it White Walls. But everything, this dude, for some reason, besides letting his horrible king bang all his daughters, the guy just had something to do with white. He just liked having white everywhere. So made a big old white house. I will state we don't know that Lord Butterwell might be Ambrose Butterwell, and that's kind of why I left it in. The Wiki of Ice and Fire has them separate, but I've also heard people say he just wasn't named at that time and it's the same Butterwell. So maybe it's the same, but I don't think it is, because I don't think this dude served as hand of the king for Aegon IV, just a master of coin for him, which we're about to get into. So I think that these are 2 separate Butterwells. Okay, so the small council. So Lord Ambrose was a master of the coin for King Aegon IV the Unworthy. See, and his grandpa, or the other lord, was the hand of the king. Maybe not at the same time. So where am I? Aegon famously legitimized all his bastard children on his deathbed. He was raised. So when this dude was raised, Ambrose Butterwell was raised the hand of the king under Aegon's successor, King Daeron I. Aegon's firstborn to his wife. So Daeron I was the oldest, quote, true-born son to Aegon the Unworthy, right? So although Ambrose was only hand for a short time, because he allegedly led, where was I? He was allegedly led, what am I saying? Because his ability to lead was questioned when he attempted to deal with the burgeoning Blackfire rebellion and failed miserably. He was replaced by Lord Hayford as hand. So he made it up to hand of the king for Daeron II. And then when the Blackfire rebellion started going up, he started fumbling stuff and he couldn't stop anything. So then he got fired and they made Lord Hayford the hand of the king under him. So instead of him. For Daemon II. So now we're going to talk about the first Blackfire Rebellion. So during the Blackfire Rebellion, Butterwell attempted to keep 1 foot in each camp like a slime ball. He sent his eldest son to fight for King Daeron II and his second son to fight for Daemon Blackfire. Both of them fought in the Battle of the Red Grass Field, the largest battle during the first Blackfire Rebellion, effectively ending it and confirming King Daeron II Targaryen's rule for the 7 kingdoms. 10,000 men died during the Battle of the Red Grass Field, including Daemon Blackfire and both of his eldest twin sons. Aegon and Aemon, effectively ending the rebellion and confirming Daeron II's rule for the Seven Kingdoms. Did I say that twice? That's hilarious. However, Bittersteel fled to the Free Cities with many others, including 5 surviving sons and several daughters from Daemon. After the fighting, after he fought Bloodraven. So Aegor, fights some Bloodraven first. Both of Ambrose's sons were among the slain that day, and the youngest son died from the great spring sickness, leaving him no male heir. Yeah, so he married all of his daughters off too. So guy doesn't have much. That's why he's about to try to get married. But he sent one of his sons to fight for Daeron, sent the other one to fight for Daemon Blackfire during the Blackfire Rebellion, and they were both at the Red Grass Field. And because he was trying to play both sides, he lost both of his male heirs. Dang. Yeah, that's rough, man. Maybe he should be playing both sides. That's rough. So now he needs some more male heirs, right? So tourney at White Walls. Lord Ambrose hosted the White Walls tourney to celebrate his marriage to a daughter of House Frey in 212 AC. It was held at White Walls in the Riverlands and was actually the second attempt of Blackfire pretenders to claim the Iron Throne. So, yeah, that was a spoiler for all of Mystery Night, right? So he starts throwing the White Walls tourney, but really it's a ploy to get all these Blackfire Blackfire supporters together, right? So it was held at White Walls. Okay. All right. The winner would receive the dragon egg that had been given to Butterwell's grandfather by King Aegon. So the one that one. Anyways. Okay, so Lord Butterwell's grandfather by King Aegon IV, the marriage of Lord Ambrose Butterwell to the daughter of Frey was used by some of those who had sided with House Blackfire during the first rebellion to come together among those who resisted the rule of the hand of the king, Brendan Rivers, and to join the forces. Most of those who had fought for the Black Dragon in the original Blackfire had their children taken as hostage. But a lot of those hostages had died during the Great Spring Sickness, which allowed their families to plot once more. Right? So now what did I just say? So now that Bloodraven kind of took everybody's, well, not Bloodraven, but Daeron took everybody's sons who supported the Blackfires as hostages, but then the Great Spring Sickness happened and a bunch of people died, including all of those hostages. So now that those Blackfire supporters don't really have a reason not to, they're trying to get together during this tourney, which is Ambrose's wedding, to kind of get the band back together, get the Blackfire support back together, right? So uninvited guests. So Sir Duncan the Tall and his squire Egg are traveling through the Riverlands. They are on their way to the north to take up the service of Baron Stark, who has sent a call for men to help fend off Greyjoy raids in the northern coast. On their way, they encounter the Lord's train led by Gorman Peak of Starpike and a couple other people. Additional members of the party are Lord Alan Cockshaw and a well-dressed, richly-garbed man who introduced himself as Sir John the Fiddler, a hedge knight. While camping along the shore, Duncan meets and befriends Maynard Plum and Kyle the Cat of the Misty Door, great name, Kyle the Cat, and Sir Glendon Ball. 3 other hedge knights traveling to the wedding. Maynard calls Ambrose Lord Butterbutt, which is the funniest thing ever, and that's amazing. From them, he learns that there is a joust to celebrate the wedding, and the victor's prize is a dragon egg. So Dunk wants to go. So this whole side had nothing to do with Ambrose, right? But it's me setting up everything, and then I'm not gonna pay it all off, right? So everybody who's going, and Maynard Plum calls him Butterbutt. That's the only reason I kept that in. And yeah, so all the other people going, including John the Fiddler, are supporters of the Blackfires, and John the Fiddler is Daemon Blackfire II the whole time. So yeah, I'm leaving out the entire all the other stuff that happens. So again, this is not a substitute for reading Mystery Night. Okay, so Brendan Rivers arrives. The joust was rigged so that John the Fiddler, who's actually Daemon's second Blackfire, would win. However, the egg was stolen before it could be awarded. After the Squire egg, so a different egg, this time it's a person who's Prince Aegon Targaryen in disguise, who's traveling with Dunk, attempted to send a message to his father, Prince Maekar Targaryen, and he tried to use his father's ring to persuade Ambrose. So he goes up there to persuade, the Maester. All right, he was presented by Lord Ambrose. Aegon bluffed him by claiming that he was a spy and that the army was coming, after which Ambrose recanted his allegiance to the Blackfire and fled with Lord Frey. Okay, before I get into all that, there's a really cool scene of Egg, like, yelling at Ambrose, like, just like, you traitor, you bastard. And he's like, my dad's army's on his way. And then, like, Lord Pete comes in, and he's like, seize the little egg. It's actually a really cool scene. But yeah, so Ambrose he grabs his phrase and he gets out. He's like, oh, bye, screw this. However, before he could get far, Lord Brendan Rivers appears with an army to put an end to the rebellion. Lord Ambrose loses his castle at Whitewall, which was razed, and the earth was salted. So no one even knows where it is. He erases it from existence, pretty much, right? And is only allowed to keep 1/10 of his house fortune along with his head. So he doesn't get killed, but he gets all of his stuff taken from him. His home, most of his money, probably Lord Harroway's town, and he loses all of it. So like I said, I skipped over a lot of stuff, right? So yeah, I'll cover them slightly, but yeah. And I think I might have added a couple typos into here. But yeah, some theories. I'm not going to cover every theory in the Mystery Night. I'm just going to go over them really quick. Like Mater Plum being Bloodraven. Yes, I do believe that Mater Plum is Bloodraven, and that's how Bloodraven knows about it. And even though the message couldn't get out, there was an army on its way because Mater Plum was Bloodraven the whole time. I do believe that. That's one of the theories, but of course, that's not really Ambrose related, right? So the Frey girl he married being Old Nan. I don't remember where I heard that. I don't believe that one. I think that anytime there's a character who's that old, they're like, oh, she wasn't named. It's Old Nan. I don't believe that, but that's funny. All right. Where was I? And then why Aegon Rivers didn't support Daemon. I'm not going to cover that either. A lot of people think it's because of Daemon's sexuality, because he's gay, but whatever. I'm just going to focus on Ambrose and House Butterwell. There are some speculation of who his first wife is. I saw Elena Targaryen being tossed out there, but I don't think that's likely. We know who her freaking 4 husbands are, and we don't have an, so we don't have a name, so I don't think it's relevant. Like, I don't think it's relevant who his first wife is. He was married. He had a bunch of kids, right? So several daughters, right? And 3 sons. So, where was I going? Oh, yeah. So I don't think it's Elena Targaryen because we know who all of Elena Targaryen's wives or husbands are, right? So, yeah. So that's why I don't think it's that. All right. A deleted user on Reddit brought up the fact that all of his daughters were mothers to possible dragon seeds. So this is because, remember his all of that dude's daughters had bastard sons. I might have been, when I was writing this, I might have been confusing his grandfather again with him. So this might not make perfect sense. But yeah, they're out of the 3 daughters, one of them. So he has daughters, one married Tom Heddle, the other to Risley, and the other one to House Costain. Do these 3 houses all have possible dragon blood because of Lord Butterwell letting Aegon IV? Yeah. Anyways, that's it. That was an interesting thought. Again, I wasn't trying to, I think I was confusing them when I wrote that, but now I'm not. So there's possibly dragon blood in House Butterwell because of Aegon IV. Maybe not. It may be just those 3 daughters, so it would have been the aunts and uncles of Ambrose Butterwell, spread out dragon seeds. But anyways, people like to keep attention to dragon seeds of where there's dragon blood around it. So yeah. Anyways, that's it. This house has some dragon blood because of Aegon the Fourth and his love for deflowering maids. Yeah. Okay, that was. I hope that wasn't too confusing. I kind of confused myself. Oh no, I've gone cross-eyed. Yeah. So that's Ambrose Butterwell. It was hard to skate that line of just completely telling you guys everything in Mystery Night, so I didn't. But then it kind of felt like I was like setting up the tournament, and then I went right to the end of the tournament, so I'm sorry. But Ambrose isn't really part of all the middle stuff that happens. So anyways, that was my Ambrose Butterwell, good old Lord Butterbutt, who Bloodraven, pretending to be Maynard, calls him, which is hilarious. All right, so thank you guys for watching. If this is your first time here, please click like and subscribe. And I hope you're, besides a trip to the Reach we're doing next week, I hope you're okay with hanging out in the Riverlands for pretty much the rest of the year. So, yeah, that's it. Go and get some butter. Waitress, more butter. Chopping mall reference? All right, cool. Peace.